Yo guys, welcome to ShayanGaming. Today we're going to be doing a guide on Taliyah, whatever you want to call her. And basically this is going to be either a top guide or mid guide. So now we're going to talk about Taliyah's Q, which is threaded volley. So basically if we stand on any like normal ground, you can choose a direction and it basically shoots 5 rocks that deals damage in an area. As you can see, it does the same amount of damage to people around it. And basically after you do the ability, you can see the circle appears. Now what this circle is basically called worked ground. I was calling it cursed earth before, I don't know why. So it's worked ground, and basically you get movement speed bonus on it, and the movement speed bonus is actually half the movement speed of rock surfing when you're along the wall. This lasts for 3 minutes, these areas, and you can kind of have as many as you want. You can kind of stack them. So as you can see, there's one here and there's one there. It highlights when you go on it so you know which one you're on. And the movement speed bonus actually does stack along the wall. So if I show you guys now, while we're on the wall, you can see we're at, okay wait, that's the stacked one. So if we're just here in this region, you can see movement speed's 426. If we come here, it stacks and goes up to 468. So that's pretty cool. You can stack it, and you can technically make loads of these along the whole of this wall, which is kind of a waste of mana probably if you want to actually fight in lane. But it would look kind of cool, and you'd probably have insane movement speed. Now another important point about Taliyah's Q is when you're in the worked ground, so when you're in one of these circles in your Q, you only shoot 1, you don't shoot 5, but you do get half your mana back. So instead of 60 mana, you get 30, you're basically using 30 mana. And also another cool thing is when you're actually queuing, let's say you're not in the worked ground, but if you're queuing, you can actually move around. You can actually leave the zone as well. So Taliyah's E, which is Unraveled Earth, basically sets a formation like this on the ground that immediately does magic damage and also slows anyone who's in the area by 27%. And as you just saw right now, after 4 seconds, it explodes, dealing the same damage again. Now, while the trap is active, it can also explode if someone dashes inwards, or if you knock someone up like this. As you can see, those ones triggered, but the rest of them will still explode after 4 seconds anyway. So basically this also works if someone's pushing them or pulling them, for example a Blitzcrank or a Skarner, basically pulling people in this area where we had the Unraveled Earth. So in this area it will basically trigger the traps and they'll take damage, and they can take damage from a maximum of 4 traps as it says here. So Taliyah's W, basically you select a region, and basically what happens is after a short delay it knocks them up and deals magic damage. You can also choose the direction in which you want them to be knocked up, so you can actually push them towards you or away from you if you're running away from them. So if I click here and click this way, it knocks them towards you. Your W also grants vision, so it's a good way of checking a bush or something like that. So in terms of combos, my favorite is applying E to slow them and then applying your W, making them hit multiple rocks because that deals more damage, as you can see. So now Taliyah's wall, I was about to say, Taliyah's ultimate, which is Weaver's Wall, basically creates a massive wall that increases in length and duration of how long it actually stays as you level it up. Let's just level up right now. And basically if you press Alt immediately, you can also ride along with the wall, and then you can cancel the wall by pressing R again, so then the wall's cancelled, it doesn't stay for the full duration. Taking damage does not interrupt your ultimate, so you can take damage and, well, ult. So in terms of leveling up order, I would start with E first because it's really easy to hit them with, but then don't try and just use it as a poke, don't go in yet until you've got your W. So level 2 I'd go W, so that immediately you have, a really good combo to just E and then W them into multiple rocks, because as I said before, it deals a lot of damage. And then you could either go E again or Q, get 1 point in Q, but I'd probably max E first and then max Q, and obviously take your ultimate when you can. Now in terms of items, I would first start with Corrupting Potion because it just makes it so easy to deal extra bit of damage when you hit your E, because it is really easy to hit your E. Every time they come for a CS, just eat them or something like that. And also you could go Rylai's Scepter first because obviously when you eat them it'll slow them even more, making it even easier to hit your W. But the E slow is kind of enough, so most of the time you can actually get the W off. So you could actually go Rod of Ages or something like that. You could also actually go for the Hextech Protobelt, the one that basically gives you a dash. You get a nice amount of health from it, AP and some cooldown reduction, and the dash also helps because you don't really have an escape. Obviously you can slow them with your E and W them to push them away, so that is kind of like the skillful way of escaping. That will look cool, but the dash actually is decent. To be honest, I'm still experimenting with the items. It kind of depends on which lane you go to, and I'm still not really sure which lane is best. I do need to try this person out in some normals, but PvE has so much ping, and not only that, it's just very difficult to play in a normal game with the actual new champion because everyone's trying to play them, and if someone doesn't get it or it gets banned, people just quit, and then PvE queue times are quite long, so it's quite difficult. But I guess I'll update you once it hits onto live servers. So when it comes to masteries, if we're not going, you know, in a tanky type of mastery direction, then I'd kind of have this. I'd make sure you have oppressor because you obviously slow them a lot, and you know that just helps with increased damage. And then I'd probably take some mana regen and then some of merciless as well. And then I'd go Thunderlords because your E and W combo does hit Thunderlords every single time. Well, obviously after the cooldown. You don't actually need to auto attack. Basically, if the enemy champion hits, you know, 2 rocks. Actually, no, if the enemy champion hits 1 rock, so if you manage to fling them onto anything, that automatically procs Thunderlords. So yeah. Now when you're going back to lane, let's say bottom lane or top lane, this is kind of how you want to do your clicking. There's basically 2 parts. There's this wall segment here, and then there's a second wall segment where it starts from over here and you can click over here. If you click too far out, then you actually go, like for example, if you click there, as you can see on the minimap, he kind of goes up, so you actually miss your movement speed. This is just, you know, the quickest way of getting back to lane. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, it will mean a lot. And yeah, this is kind of just the beginning of this champion. I mean, this is PvE, so not everything has been tested, but this is kind of the first glimpse of sort of stuff that I thought would be useful on Taliyah or Taliyah. Let's figure out how to pronounce this person's name. I know loads of people are going to have different opinions of how to pronounce her, but yeah, this is what I like playing with. Obviously it might change, and I feel like they may nerf the E and make the cooldown a bit longer. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Adios.